Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rose Writes and I write and narrate Miraculous Ladybug fan fiction. Thank you so much for joining me for my next lyrical fan fiction. This story was inspired by Tightrope from The Greatest Showman. Thank you to SeliceArt99 on Instagram for their stunning artwork. Please check them out, their links will be in the description box below. Now then, please enjoy Tightrope. Marinette peeked between the cracks of the velvet curtain, staring into the audience. Her heart continued to beat quickly. Inhale, exhale. Some people long for a life that is simple and planned. Not Marinette. Instead of joining her parents working for the bakery, she decided to audition for a traveling circus. At least Marinette didn't have to talk in front of people. She couldn't stand the idea of public speaking, but dancing came naturally. She had no idea how she'd react with hundreds of eyes peering at her, scrutinizing her every step. She tried not to think about that part, though. The show was called The Cat and His Ladybug. She impressed herself by landing the lead, and tonight was opening night, aka Marinette's first time performing in front of someone other than her parents. Backstage, she reviewed her movements, barely whispering to herself. Everything had to be perfect. I start on stage right. Grand jeté, plie, arabesque. Then I grab the silk, and then you grab my hand. A voice came from behind her, taking her by surprise. Adrien! She put a hand to her chest, attempting to catch her breath. Don't sneak up on me! I could have kicked you! Her handsome dance partner shook with laughter before collecting himself. He then shrugged, adjusting his clip-on cat ears. I'm not worried about it, but I can see you're worried about something. Huh? Adrien had caught her looking out at the audience again. Oh, I'm a little nervous. Her eyes drifted towards the top of the black box theater, where a tightrope hung high above them. Will you catch me if I should fall? Of course, m'lady. He bowed deeply, giving a flourish of his black cape. He took her hand, kissing it tenderly. Okay, lover boy, back up. It's time for places. The stage manager barked her orders. Adrien gave Marinette one last wink before exiting to stage left in preparation for his entrance. The nervous dancer took several deep breaths, smoothing the ruffles of her black and red leotard. It's time. Marinette leaped onto the stage from her position, executing all of her dance steps flawlessly. She took the silks in her hands, wrapping them around her forearms, flipping herself upside down. Adrien entered just as perfectly as she did. She reached her hand down. Together they performed a graceful routine high off the ground. Are you ready? Put your hand in mine and I promise to never let go, Adrien whispered so only Marinette could hear. The music swelled around the theater, and in the moment it was just the two of them. Her eyes flickered briefly to the audience, then back at Adrien. Hey, don't look at them, look at me. It's amazing how he comforted her even when they had a show to do. Her heart gave a flutter in return. She nodded timidly. Okay, let's do it. Holding firmly to the silk rope, Adrien swung Marinette up to the tightrope platform. High in the sky, she could see the whole world down below. Performing was an adventure that came with a breathtaking view. Adrenaline coursed through Marinette's body. She took one more large breath. Hands out, she began walking the tightrope. Cartwheel and then handstand. Don't look down, don't look at them, she thought to herself. Marinette had done this routine thousands of times, but now that people were staring at her, it's like she nearly forgot everything. She carefully lifted one hand off the thin rope, holding it in the air. The audience erupted in applause. During this time, Adrien had been doing his own complicated aerial silks routine. He let go of his silks, falling gracefully. He moved underneath the rope Marinette perched on. She closed her eyes and fell to her partner awaiting her. Adrien held Marinette high above his head as he did several pirouettes to put them at center stage. "See? I promised I'd never let go." He waltzed with her, twirling her around him. "Adrien, this isn't part of the show," Marinette said, panicking, but even so, she trusted him. "I'd risk it all just to be with you, milady." Adrien smiled, which turned Marinette's face redder than her costume. He pulled her in, and together they were lost in a dream, spinning in circles, walking a tightrope. The balance they kept was so delicate, and right now, she'd risk it all for this life they chose. "May I, milady?" Marinette looked at his bright green eyes that appeared so warm. This definitely wasn't part of the show, but she no longer cared. At the end of their dance, he dipped her deeply, wrapping her in his embrace, in front of a few hundred people. Adrien placed a kiss on her glossy lips. As she came up from the kiss, they held hands, raising them proudly, greeting their adoring audience. All the people in the stands flew to their feet with thunderous applause. A smile was plastered on Marinette's face, thinking of what she'd accomplished. Some people won't sail the sea because it's safer on land to follow what's written, but Marinette wrote her own adventure. This adventure brought her closer to Adrien, and she'd follow him to the great unknown, off to a world they could call their own. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like this video and subscribe if you aren't already. And as always, stay miraculous.